Good morning, good morning, everyone. And how are you today? Well, by now you know it's Thursday, and what does that mean? It's getting it done with gratitude time. And here we are, happy as always. Our hearts are full because we get to spend the next 30 minutes with you talking about gratitude. And as the year begins to wind down, rather too quickly for me, I don't know what Shelly thinks, but I think it's going a tad quick.
Yes,
as the
same here, but I could speed it up a little bit too.
But as the year is winding down, we thought that what we would talk about this morning is how are we encouraging gratitude in the next generation? It's okay for us to know how to do it and to practice it, but in we want to build a legacy. We want the next generation and the next generation after that to understand and appreciate and value what gratitude is and what a significant role it can play in their lives. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. And before we get right into that most interesting topic, let me introduce myself for those of you now who might have heard all about this wonderful um, program on a Thursday morning on LinkedIn, and you are here for the first time. Welcome, welcome. I'm Karen Williams Thompson, a life and business strategist and coach, and I work with women 40 plus to help them really get absolutely clear on what they want. These are women who are ready to pivot. They have been there. They've been there for everyone else. They've put everyone else before them, and they have said, What? Now it's my turn." And I help them to get crystal clear on what is it they truly want. I help them to create the strategic plan that's going to help them successfully achieve that and live the life that they want for themselves. So that's a tiny little bit about me. I'll let Shelley introduce herself, and then we're going to get right into this topic about how are we getting the next generation to make gratitude part and parcel of their life.
Yes, good
Shelley?
morning, Karen, and thank you. And I agree with you. I love this topic because it's so important for us to, while we are dealing with ourselves, dealing with the next generation, because we are in positions of being mentors, parents, and really impacting the future. When it comes to gratitude, I think I tell I live it. People around me, anybody who knows me knows that I live gratitude because I believe that people over 40 deserve to live their life with joyous energy. And what usually happens is if you're like me, you're so passionate about what you're doing that it consumes you. And then you wake up one morning thinking, where is my life? I'm just
Yeah.
doing, going, and everything else is consuming me, or you're struggling to figure out where to go next or what your goals are. Either way, the issue is that we're burning out and we're not really feeling the passion and joy in life. And so that's what I'm here to help my clients with. I help them do that with the gratitude strategy. So I show them how to say it right by making language and self-talk empowering. I show them how to say it loud by making gratitude tangible and active. And I show them how to say it always by establishing that daily habit of intentional gratitude. And notice I said daily habit of intentional gratitude because that is the keystone habit that sets the foundation for you to build other habits that would help you achieve your goals and so on. So we're not saying forget everything and, live happy. We're talking about being happy and energetic and joyous while you're pursuing what you're pursuing. And for me, that is like the ultimate bliss. And I feel that is what I am trying to impart in my children as well. And everyone I encounter, including my students in class and so on. So this concept of cultivating gratitude in the next generation is something that I really truly I try to do something and to say something every day to help with that. Because I mean, to say the children are our future, it sounds like a cliche, but it's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And when we are older and we relinquish our control of the things that are around us, who's going to be taking it up? It's the kids. So,
Yes.
well, they won't be kids anymore. They would be adults doing the adult things. So, how do we, get them to feel the gratitude, experience the gratitude, and benefit from it the way that we are experiencing it now, as early as possible? And that's really what we're covering today.
Absolutely. And, as I listen to you, you have two girls, I have a son, and I'm thinking one of the key things, key ways that we can encourage gratitude in the next generation is by modeling it.
Hmm.
Our elders would have said, children live what they see.
Yeah.
And if children see you regularly expressing gratitude for both big and small things, for turning in and getting the park at where you wanted it, for just having a good day, for a meal, when children hear and see you being thankful for things, they are more likely to embrace that. At times they don't even realize that. And I know this because, sometimes you're having a conversation with them and they say, oh, but remember you always used to say this. And they remind you of the things that you always said. So you think to yourself, oh, you were actually listening to me. This is good. So modeling the behavior and practicing it. And what you can also do, another way we can actually do that is to actually practice it by including them. So you're doing it
Yeah.
and invite them to do it from their space wherever they are. They may have had a good day at school, something may have happened. It is in those moments that you have an opportunity to show and to teach and to demonstrate to them how, if they start to apply gratitude in their own way and they start to build on that, how it's going to make a difference for them. And I think it's really incumbent on us as the adults to embrace that responsibility, because we now know from an adult perspective what practicing gratitude has done for us. So think about the advantage that we would be giving the next
Mhm.
generation if we inculcated or helped them to embrace and to take on practicing gratitude now. And there are several
Yeah.
other ways, I'm sure, if we think about it, that we can explore about how we can get the next generation to put gratitude and to do it according to the gratitude strategy, saying it loud, saying it always, saying it right. When
Mhm. Mhm.
um I don't know if y'all say this one in Trinidad, bend the tree when it is young.
Yeah.
So you would have heard my grandmother say, you bend the tree while it is young. And that translates to mean you teach the children from young what it is you want them to do and how you want them to do. So, you instill manners, you teach them how to talk or whatever, but you
Mhm. Mhm.
instill the things that you want in them, the customs and the traditions of the family. So bend the tree while it is young with gratitude and make that
Absolutely.
something that everyone is really doing.
Yeah, and I thought of two things while you were speaking there. I remember when my children were younger, we used to do something that we called the gratitudes. And I had seen a video or read an article, I don't remember which now, about someone talking about a gratitude rock. And so what I did was I found four different rocks. And my kids are obsessed with rocks. We can't go anywhere without them bringing back a stone. And sometimes the stones disappear because otherwise we'd have just huge pile. But so I found these four rocks, and so we would do this thing once a week. We would meet as a family, and everybody would take their rock and hold it in their hand and say something that they were grateful for during
Oh,
the week.
nice. Mm-hmm.
And so the reason I thought of that when you were speaking was because different people interact differently, and we want to make gratitude multisensory, especially for children who may not quite understand this idea of saying positive statements,
Mm-hmm.
just like that, or they may not understand the abstract concept of gratitude. So we really do have to make it as tangible and practical and hands on, quite
Mm-hmm.
literally, as possible. So with the writing, yes, but also with doing things like, holding the rock. So whenever any kind of situation came up during the week, and, we wanted to think about, all right, how can we um feel gratitude in this, we would bring out the box of rocks and everybody would hold their rock and remember the gratitude that they expressed and that type of thing. And so we don't do it anymore, but I at the time, they were at a young age, and so I figured that that would be the best way to bring it out really tangible for them.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's one of the main things, especially when dealing with the next generation. The younger they are, we have to make things practical and tangible.
Yes, and I think it has to be things that just fit in with the ebb and flow of their life because that next generation is already moving, quicker. They have things to do. They don't spend a lot of time on lots of things that we may have spent some time on. But that was really good because that was a ritual that you all had that you did, and that is a wonderful way of actually making gratitude a part of something for the next generation. That's a good way of helping them to create because then they know as they become adults they can create their own rituals, and when they
Yeah.
have their families this is going to be a memory that they have, and again they will think of something and come up with a way to create their own ritual of gratitude, and that is really how it starts. That's like the first
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
first step. Another thing where when we think about gratitude in the next generation is volunteering and helping others. So my son was very blessed, I thought. He had lots of presents, lots of toys, not presents, lots of toys and so on. And what we did is, as he outgrew certain stages, we would get him to put together some that he wasn't playing with as much or that he felt that he could part with and take them to a home with other children because we really wanted him to see how much he had to be grateful for. And even though you may not understand the full implications of it, the act of doing it, of giving to others just for their joy and benefit, that
Mhm.
act
Mhm.
stays with them. And that's something that you can also do with your children, your children's children, the grandchildren, the nieces. It doesn't even have to be your child, it could be young people in the community. But that
Yeah.
next generation, that is a wonderful way to just help them to harness that and to do it. So sharing in the community, volunteering to do different things, they have so many things, especially at this time of the year, that you can volunteer for, but at other times to just make that something that you do. And
Mhm.
I mentioned it
Mhm.
earlier, and I suppose as a teacher, with you being a teacher even today, I did it for a short stint, but I mean you're doing this every day. You have the opportunity right there in that classroom to teach perspective on
Mhm.
why
Mhm.
gratitude will make a difference. Why even bother with gratitude, so that there is that dawning of understanding of oh yeah, this makes sense. Because teacher says it's golden. I remember when I remember when my son first started school, I'd come home and I'm suggesting that this is the way. No, 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 that is not the way. Teacher says, and you have to do it the way
Oh,
that
yes, there's an age.
that teacher says.
Mhm.
So it's wonderful then that you have the opportunity to actually teach teach them and to discuss how situations could be different if we applied gratitude. So I think those are some really wonderful ways that persons can start to think about. Ask yourself, how
Yeah.
could I, wherever I am now, help the next generation embrace gratitude into their life in a meaningful way?
hmm And for me, meaningful. Remember, we spoke about, and we always talk about gratitude, grounding you in the present, and helping
Yes.
you notice things around you. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's what I do with my students and my kids as well. Because sometimes, using the word gratitude, it sounds sort of, out there and intangible for them. So, what I try to do is to build curiosity and acknowledgement. So, curiosity about life around them and just being able to notice and appreciate what's around you. And so, perhaps not necessarily using the word gratitude, but words like, what do you see that you enjoy? What do you appreciate in this? And just pointing out little things because there's so much to be grateful for. And we want our children and the younger generations to grow up in this idea that everything around them, there are many, many things. Let me not say everything, because there are some unpleasant things, but there are many things around them that they could notice and appreciate and enjoy. And so, I always remember there's a video on the internet of a parent, you know, I don't know what it is with these videos about parents pranking their kids, but there
Mm.
was this one particular video. The parents, they wrapped a banana in gift wrap and they gave it to their little daughter. She looked like probably about 4 maybe. And so the idea is that they're giving her a gift, but it's just fruit, right? And so when she opened it, she was like, I got a banana. And she was just running around excitedly. She was
I
screaming.
am not sure how many children would do that, but that is really cool.
It was so cute to see this little one, and the parents were like, they were kind of a little confused, but, excited as well. She was happy because it was a gift. It didn't matter what it was exactly, it was a gift, and she loved bananas. So, hey, I love bananas, and you gave me a banana. Thank you. And she was just so excited. And I loved that so much because whatever those parents are doing, pranking aside, um, she was just thoroughly enjoying her life
Yes. Yeah.
and she appreciated everything that she received in terms of gifts, whether it was big or small, and it was something, pleasant and enjoyable for her. And that's the kind of thing that I really instill in my kids, whatever you receive, be grateful for, even if it's just someone's presence. They took the time to be there for you. You
Mhm.
appreciate that. They're around you. You appreciate that. They say something nice to you. You appreciate that. It doesn't always have to be a physical gift. Where someone is giving you something tangible that's expensive. You appreciate everything. And so even like anywhere we go, we would be like, "Ooh, look at this and look at that and look at the sky, look at the clouds, look at," and they take pictures of everything. So we have pictures of all kinds of different buildings, a million pictures of the cats, hundreds of thousands of pictures of, yeah, I'm exaggerating, but that's how I feel sometimes. Google Drive gets filled ever so often and we have to download because they're noticing things, flowers, if they see a flower in the midst of some grass, if they see grass in the midst of concrete, if they see a bright color in the midst of some, not so bright colors, they notice these things and they
Yes.
appreciate it because it's different and it's wonderful and it's exciting. And it might sound kind of, strange because it looks a little strange sometimes when, everything around is just, it's normal, that's life, and they're going around, hey, look at this and look at that. um but I feel that that curiosity and that joy of life is
Hmm.
really what would make a difference in terms of that ability to identify the gratitude and the things that we're grateful for. We can see it and feel it in everything around us.
Yeah. And all that really spoke to celebrating moments And that's
Yeah.
what gratitude
Yeah.
is all about. That's like celebrating moments, whether they were big moments, whether they're little moments, because all those things you just mentioned really were little celebrations and helping them to have that awareness. And they they got that from you guys. They got that from you, Roger. So
Mhm. Mhm.
keep on keeping on, as a Toastmaster friend of mine would say. But
Mhm.
celebrating the small moments. When I work with the ladies that are working with me, saying yes to their dreams, setting the goals and achieving them, I always encourage them to celebrate those small moments, because oftentimes people
Mhm.
set a
Oh
goal
yes.
and they really focus on the big goal at the end. But achieving the goal is only one part of it. Who you become in the process of achieving that goal is really where the gold is. And by celebrating the small wins along the way, the little successes or the things that you think are too small to even notice, by acknowledging them, by celebrating the accomplishment of having achieved it, that builds the momentum, that builds the joy, and that also builds the habit of making
Mhm.
gratitude
Mhm.
a part and parcel of your life. And so it's something that's so important for me, that you don't only work on getting the task done. So this is what we have to do. This is where we're going. But at each step,
Yeah.
you stop and you say, this was good. How you feel about it, all of the emotions that come with that sense of accomplishment and fulfillment of having gotten something done. Because sometimes these are things that people have wanted to do for a long time, but they didn't have
Oh
that
yeah.
belief in
Oh yeah.
themselves that they could get it done. So now that they've done it, celebrate it. Make a big to do about it, because it's worth it. And so celebrating those moments cannot be underrated. So that's really, really cool. And I love that story with the little girl with the banana. I
Yes.
showed her, didn't understand what great life values they had really imparted to her, that someone that
Mhm.
young could be so excited about receiving a gift wrapped banana. That was really, really
Yes.
um,
Yeah, and it was just so cute, and she was so tiny, and you see the little eyes light up, and for me, that just speaks so much in terms of appreciating
mhm.
the little things, because we do have so much around us, and we take so much for granted, especially children
Mhm.
who really don't understand how things come, the effort behind certain things. It's pretty
Yes.
easy for them to say, well, okay, yeah, I have this and I have that, and just accept that things appear, not understanding that they cost money or how they're made, or those types of things. And while we're not really trying to get them to say, okay, this cost money, it's not really about the money. It is about the fact that the thing exists. It's something to really pay attention to. And
Mhm.
what I realize as well is that, listening to my daughters when we have conversations and the things they tell me they're sharing with their friends, when you impact on your young person or the young people you have in your environment, it's going to be a ripple effect, because
Mhm.
they are now going to be telling their friends, and when they're around their friends they will be saying, "Ooh, look at this," and "Ooh, look at that," and they would be saying, "Hey, look, there's a banana."
Yes, that is so, so true. And that can also then help them to help us to encourage empathy in them. Because then sometimes when because things don't always go right, we talk about all of the joys and everything, but it is harder to practice gratitude when things are not going right. And that is the time when you need
Hmm.
to really be practicing the gratitude and implementing the gratitude.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
if it is something that's difficult for us, then it is not going to come naturally to children how to. I'm vexed with this child. They took my ball. They missed my turn. Whatever is going on. They had their first heartbreak. It is rather difficult in that time to be saying, "Oh yeah, let me celebrate this." Let me think. So we have to help them to
Yeah.
understand perspective and
Yes.
struggles, and then how how you can turn this around, because you were right about something you said. We can't be just going around saying gratitude, gratitude, gratitude all the time. It becomes one of those words that will then lose the essence of what it's about, because it's just
Yeah.
becomes another word. And that's why I really strongly believe that if we model the life that we want our next
Mhm.
generations to also model, that's where it begins, that step of us modeling, us living what we say. You know, they say, what is it, something about putting a foot in somebody's step. Anyhow, I can't remember the thing now, but you get my point. We have
Yeah.
to model what it is that we want for our next generation. And children live what they see. So what they
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
their mom, dads, whoever doing, whoever is there in their space, that's what they do. That's what they lean into. So
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
that's that's really important
And I
as well.
think, what you mentioned just now kind of really brought something home to me. There will be
Mhm.
difficult moments, and we're not really attempting to teach our children to ignore the difficult moments or to, um, you know, do a lot of affirmations and gratitude ourselves through the difficult moments. It's okay to feel how you feel. It is
Mhm.
okay when things hurt because that's life. So it's not like if something is wrong with you because
Mhm.
you're feeling a certain way. But the idea is that those feelings are not permanent.
Yes.
And what we really want our kids to understand is that we can regenerate, the sun will come out again. So there will be dark clouds, there will be the night, but the sun will come out again. And one thing, I read something once that said, sometimes when we experience the dark clouds, we forget that the sun didn't disappear or cease to exist. It is still there, just behind the dark clouds. So it still exists. And
Mhm.
and that is the kind of foundation with appreciation and gratitude. When it becomes a habit, we really understand that yes, I'm in a difficult moment and I don't feel happy and grateful in this moment, but that does not mean that generally I'm not a happy and grateful person. This
Mhm.
moment will pass and the sun will, peep through and reveal itself again because it's still there. It hasn't disappeared.
Mhm.
And, life will continue and I will get through this and I can be grateful for that I know I am going to get through this.
Yes. And that really hones their perspective on life. It helps them to have that appreciation. Just as you said, everything's not going to be the same,
Yeah.
but when I'm consistent, when I develop the habit of gratitude, I can help to bring myself back to focusing on what really is important at that time, what's really important to me. And so helping them to understand how to put it into perspective is also what's going to heighten their awareness. And that's when, to me, they see like the flower growing up amidst the cement, or a flower that pops out amidst a whole set of grass and tumbleweed. And then there's this one beautiful flower. Normally, you might have just passed by, you may not have seen that. But because your awareness now is so heightened, your perspective is different. Without even actually looking, you see things. And this is
Yeah.
what we want
Yeah.
for the next generation. We
Yeah.
want them to see sooner. We want them to be able to embrace it. And so there's no one way to do it. There's so many ways available
Hmm.
to us, whether you are volunteering, whether you're doing things in the community, whether you are reading stuff about gratitude, if your children, if the younger persons or persons that love reading, etc. So there's so many ways for us to do it. But I think the important thing is for us to do it.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
us then to be consistent about building that as a habit that we
Yeah.
intentionally pass on. and build that legacy of gratitude for the next generation and the generation after that and all the ones to come. And if we all played our part, hopefully we would be able to reduce the amount of wars that we have on this planet.
Mm. Yeah, it takes a moment to
It
build a
does. Oh,
habit.
oh,
Yeah, it takes a
definitely.
moment. Takes a moment to build a habit. So the earlier you begin, is more, the earlier the habit will be instilled, and then you get to the maintenance stage as opposed to the building stage, and then there's that default. That's a beautiful habit of gratitude. And
Yes.
so, yeah, as you're saying, this is what we really want for the next generation, to appreciate and to love, and to see community and life as joyous, really,
Yes.
so that when we hit 40, we're not going to be as burnt out as as we tend to be
We're
when
not
we
going to be
make
burnt out
other
at all.
priorities. Yeah, when we have other aspects of life as priorities. So that's it. We're all out of time as usual, running into that
Yeah.
30 minutes just goes
Listen.
poof.
Yes.
And here we are again at the end. But I hope, for those of you who took in the live, thank you so much. If you're looking at the recording, we appreciate that greatly. And just live in gratitude and share it with everyone, especially the younger generation, so that they can get to it early and really live that life in joyous energy. So thank you again. And guess what? You get to see us next week, Thursday. So have a wonderful rest of the morning, evening, day, night, wherever you are. I will see you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye
Bye.
bye.